Well, I think that the next person who's coming on stage is far more interesting than I am. So there's almost nothing I can say now that will be better than what he will say when he comes on stage. So I guess I'd like to. Is Gucci out there? Come on in.
How y'all doing?
This is, let's just, before we start, acknowledge how improbable this is, but in the best way. Someone backstage said that this reminded her of the interview that Martha Stewart did with Snoop Dogg, which I thought was a good place to start. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So you have a book coming out.
Yes, I have a book coming out, the autobiography of Gucci Mane. I'm so excited for people to read this book and get something out of it.
And you wrote it when you were in prison.
I completely wrote it when I was in prison, the whole book. It's just not coming out, but I wrote the book and it chronicles my life up until the day I got out of prison.
Yeah. Why? So this is my first question. I want to ask you about prison. Because you've been to prison more than once.
No, I've been to prison one time, but I had been locked up before.
Locked up before,
yeah.
But something happened to you this time that was different from your previous experiences being locked up. And can you explain a little bit, why was this time different?
I had been locked up several times, and this time was different because, I was going to prison. The consequences was way greater. They was talking about giving me 20 years. So it's just like when I got 3 years, I just didn't take it for granted. I was like, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to do better. Because I seen that, I almost got 20 years. So really it was like, I had got second chances and third chances. So in my mind, it was like, this is my last chance. This is my last opportunity. Don't fumble it. So that, my whole thing was from the day that I got locked up was, let me try to be as productive as I can. So when I do get out, even if it's 3 years, whatever time they do give to me, let me just wrap my head around the fact that, I can't commit no more crimes. Whatever I need to change, I'm going to change it now because I definitely didn't want to go back to prison.
Yeah. Did you reach all those conclusions right away, or were you there for a while before you?
I think I reached all those conclusions before I got sentenced.
Yeah.
Because, it took 7 to 8 years before I found out I was doing 3 years. The first 7 to 8 months, it was, I was 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. So, when they were saying that, it was already in my mind, I was hoping that it'll be less time than that. But it was like, let me do what I got to do. So if it's less time, I'm prepared to come out and, take advantage of still having a career, still having, still being in my 30s and rapping. Because, it's a difference when you're coming out in your 30s. You still got a chance. Yeah. You got 10 years, you still got a life, but you don't have a rap career no more. So, and I value my career.
Mm-hmm. And talk a little bit about how you were incredibly productive in that 2-year period. And you were, by the way, you were in Terre Haute. Were you?
Terre Haute.
Yeah.
Terre Haute.
Was it a Supermax?
It was a max.
A max.
It was a penitentiary.
Yeah.
I don't know why they sent me to a penitentiary like that with all the killers and people who set bombs, and I only got 3 years, but I needed to see it. When I got there, I felt like it was, damn, why would they send me here? But my criminal record, this is why I got there.
Yeah. But you, in that time, you were, first of all, you were incredibly productive musically. How many mixtapes did you do?
Over 30.
Over 30.
Yeah.
You were reading an incredible amount.
Amazing amount.
Tell us about the books you're reading. I say this somewhat self-servingly.
I think I read every book that you've written. I read a lot of Robert Greene. Mm-hmm. I read a lot of Joel Osteen and The Peak Chopper. I'm really more into self-help books more than anything. And but your books help me. You know what I'm saying? Even now I read a lot of books, but I read mostly T.D. Jakes, Joel Osteen. It seems like when I read books that self-help, and that's not the reason I do it, but a lot of times I read books that help me lose weight and work out. It's that's even when I was in prison. It's like you do the workout and you put the knowledge in. That keep me going. If I keep reading something saying, get up, shake it off, keep going, push forward, that'll make me get up and You know, I just apply that in every aspect of my life. You know, fitness, diet, production for as music. I just try to stay positive.